Hello everybody and welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to learn about multiplying by powers of 10 once again, but we're going to focus on multiplying by 100 and 1000. And I'm sure that you guys could figure out this really quickly because it's the same pattern as multiplying by 10. So here's an example. Let's say I have 23 hundredths and I want to multiply that by 100. How many zeros are in 100? 2. I'm going to move my decimal place over not once, but 2 times, which now gives me 23. And that makes sense because 23 hundredths times 100 would give me 23 wholes, or just 23. Let's look at another one. Let's say I have 1 and 457 thousandths, and I want to multiply that by 100. Since I have 2 zeros in 100, I'm going to move my decimal point over not once, but twice. My new number reads, my new number reads 145 and 7/10. Now, what do you think is going to happen when I have to multiply by 1,000? What do you think is going to happen? So, here's my number. And I want to multiply that by 1,000. Okay? How many zeros are in 1,000? How many places am I moving over my decimal point? 3 times. Swoop, swoop, swoop. It's now at the end of my number. Now I'm going to rewrite my number. And I make sure to put my comma in. 23,454. We have no tenths, hundreds, or thousands left over. We are left over with a whole number. Here's another one. We have 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. 1,225. Now I always get the question, let's say I have something like this. Okay. 12 and 45 hundredths times 1,000. And we know we need to move over our decimal point 3 places. Now, 1, 2, 3. Now, this empty space right here, since I have to move it over 3 times, we need to put a 0 in that empty space. So I'll bring down the rest of my number, and that empty space here is going to represent a 0. I'm going to put my comma in, and I have 12,450. So if you ever come to a number where you're multiplying and you're swooping the amount of times you need to, and there's not a digit in that last place, that's where you're going to put a 0. I'll show you one more just like it. Let's say I have this, and I want to multiply by 100. Same thing, I have to swoop twice, once, twice, but there's no number here. So that number is going to represent a 0. 2 and 2 tenths times 100 equals 220. So when you multiply by 100, you move your decimal place to the right twice. And when you multiply by 1,000, you move your decimal place over 3 times to the right. I hope this was clear enough for you for the lesson. And if you have any questions, let me know when we get to class next time. Have a great day.